What's up, y'all? So I was just getting my registration renewed, right? Hold on. Matter of fact, I gotta put my sticker on. But I ran into this dude, bro. I showed him my dad talked to him. And I showed him my music. And you know what he said? We brought up Lecrae. My dad said, "I like Lecrae." You know what the dude said? Nah, I used to listen to Ground. Listen to him no more. My dad said, "Why?" Cause look, honestly, I'm not gonna say nothing about that. I'm just gonna say I have a lot. Okay, my dad said why, and and the dude said, "Oh, he don't walk the walk." And in my head, the first thing I thought was, "Oh man, oh no, right? Oh no." Now look, I don't know Lecrae, right? But the wisdom I have gotten. Cause look, there was a portion of my life where I thought like that too. It was like for a couple months. I thought I was listening to what everybody else saying on social media and saying, "Oh yeah, Lecrae ain't walking the walk." I even was doing the same thing, trying to tell people, thinking I was doing the right thing, trying to tell people, "Hey, watch out for Lecrae," right? For a couple months, right? And I've even gone back and talked to people that I told about Lecrae and said, "You know what? I was wrong, right? I was wrong, right? My bad. The devil was deceiving me, right?" And then look, so we started talking about other stuff, and then at the end, I was quiet for like 20 minutes. Then at the end, I pulled dude to the side, right? And I said, "Okay, what was you talking about with that Lecrae stuff?" Because in my head, I was thinking, okay, maybe this is the same case I was in, right? To where this dude really do love the Lord, and he just not thinking about it the right way, right? And first of all, it's just sad that like you make music about Jesus, and with just listen to what this dude said, right? He said, "Oh yeah, he don't walk the walk." I said, "Okay." I said, "What'd he do?" He said, "Oh, he said homosexuality is okay." And then I told him, I said, "Oh, but he came back and said he didn't really mean that. He just said the wrong thing under pressure." And watch this. Instead of the dude saying, "Oh, really? Oh, I didn't know that." You know what he did? He acted like it didn't even matter. He like, and I said, "Okay." And then he started talking about Kirk Franklin. I said, "Not him too." Oh, I said, "Oh, you one of these people." I said, "Okay, Kirk Franklin, you don't rock with Kirk Franklin too." And then this is gonna talk about, "Oh, I went to Lecrae's church. I went to Kirk Franklin's church. These dudes ain't walking a walk." I said, bro. And then I said, right, instead of giving more evidence, he said, "Yeah, they just don't be right. It's the stuff they say, right?" Because I was trying to tell him, I was like, you can really do that if you put cameras and put everybody's life online. You can really do that with anybody, right? Right? You can really be on some, "Oh well, they did one thing I didn't think was correct, so I'm gonna write them off like they ain't legit," right? And it's like, hold up. I said, bro, if we put, I said, God could look. I said I used to think the same way as you, and then God convicted me. I said, and look, this is me, and not only has God convicted me, I'm a Christian influencer, so I go through this, right? I literally go through this right now. You know how many people probably think, "Oh, he don't walk the walk"? I don't see how you can say that. But you know how many people think that, right? And guess what? If you think that and you gonna insist on that, then my ministry ain't for you, right? And that's for anybody who's doing Christian ministry and doing Christian influencing, right? You had to come to the grips of the people who don't think you legit, the people who don't believe it, the people who don't, the ministry ain't for them, right? Now if they think that and they getting deceived by other people, right? And then they change like I did, right? Then that's different, right? But if they just gonna insist with no evidence and okay. Whoo. And then basically I said, "Dude, if we put your whole life on camera, would it look perfect? And everything I was saying, he ain't had no comebacks for. He would just change. He would just bring up something else, right? That's also proof that I was bodying this dude in what I was saying, because you couldn't even give me a valid answer back. You giving me speculations, I'm giving you facts, right? You giving me speculation. Well, it's well, I don't think he's well, I don't think, and I'm giving you facts. Well, this is what it is, right? If we put your whole life online, would it look perfect? No. If we right? If we took one thing you said, if we watched everything you said, would everything we say we would like? No. If we, oh my gosh. Then this dude gonna have the audacity, oh my goodness, to bring up the Pharisees. No, you know what else he said? He said, oh, he didn't say, he said, I'm not a Christian rapper. And I even try to explain to that dude about that. I said he didn't mean like he not rapping about Christian stuff. What he was trying to do is take the label off him that the industry, that he was trying to take the Christian rapper label off because he didn't like that label in terms of how it applies to the world, bro. Because it is true that if you say, hey, I'm a Christian rapper, they gonna think you, a lot of people are gonna write you off as one thing automatically, right? A lot of people won't even bump your tape, right? If you say I'm a Christian rapper, a lot of people already got made up in their mind what you gonna be like. They gonna think you gonna be corny. They gonna think you're not gonna be able to rap well. They gonna think you gonna be soft. They gonna think, oh my God, what she say? Save not soft. They gonna think, right? They gonna think the music gonna be good. They gonna think the beat selection gonna be right. I like I said, and look, I was testing his spirit. And maybe he was a child of God. And maybe he'll remember what I said and be like, you know what was it? Maybe he was right? Hopefully, right? Because like I said, if I wasn't somebody who used to think like this for a couple months, then I would have, right? But me being like, okay, the devil deceived me into thinking the same thing for a couple months, then, right? Oh my gosh. Then I'm like, okay, instead of just being like, oh, this dude evil, he think Lecrae evil. And like I said, I don't know Lecrae. I'm not saying he is or isn't. I'm just saying you can't, from a distance, just act like somebody, especially if you ain't got no real evidence, bro. You can't do that. You can't do that, right? If you ain't got no real evidence, you can't do that. You can't say such and such is evil, such and such ain't walking a walk, and you ain't got no proof. And the only proof you going to talk about is, oh, he said he's not a Christian rapper. Well, he didn't even mean it like that. And he raps about Jesus every song, right? And your proof can't be, oh, well, he's a homosexual, sexuality ain't a sin. When he came back on and said, right, that he didn't mean it like that, and that he didn't want to offend his brother, and he was pressured, and he was on a podcast to where the dude hit you with hard questions to try to trip up your words, to try to make you Vlad TV, right? The dude literally tried to hit you with questions that are gonna catch you off guard on purpose, right? And that's one of the things that, and he literally came back and said he didn't mean homosexuality ain't something that God don't like. He just said the wrong thing under pressure because he did it right. And he took ownership and said that was on me, right? So if that's the only evidence you're going by, some things people said online, watch this, and they came back and said, I didn't mean it like that. What the heck oh my gosh. I'm trying to help people. I'm not trying to condemn you. Because like I said, the devil had me for a couple months thinking people like Kirk Franklin, Lecrae was, right? And like I said, you know how many people are probably, I don't know, but probably going to do the same thing for me and probably already do? Now, like I said, maybe Lecrae and Kirk Franklin ain't walking a walk. Has God told me that? No. God has actually probably reveal to me the opposite. If I had to really guess if I had to really decipher what more God was telling me about these people, God really has told me the opposite. Especially about Kirk Franklin. God sometimes gives me dreams about Kirk Franklin, almost making me feel like I'm like the Kirk Franklin of this generation, bro. So, like I said, maybe that's just me getting in my own head, right? But, like I said, if you'll proof it, and he didn't even have none against Kirk Franklin. He couldn't even say nothing against Kirk. Now, I'm not trying to say Kirk is better than Craig. I'm just saying, right? Wait a second. That's it? That's all you can say? And like I said, I was trying to talk to the dude about it. I was gonna give him a little 2 minutes, 3 minutes, tell him what I think about it, tell him I used to do the same thing as you, tell him, right? You got it right. Is it social media stuff? They can take one thing you do and run with it. Tell them all this stuff, and guess what? I planted a seed, right? If you're watching this, and you think Lecrae, Kirk Franklin, or even me is evil, I challenge you. If you really are a child of God, and you know what I told the dude, because this is the best way to handle this. I said, just ask God yourself. I said, just ask him yourself. If you really his child, the Bible says, seek. I'm not saying God, all right, but right, ask him yourself. Say, hey, is Kirk Franklin a false prophet? Is Lecrae a false prophet? It's okay to listen to these dudes' music. And if they tell you no, and if technically they, because Father, Son, Holy Spirit, but if he tell you no, right? Then God told you something he didn't tell me, right? That's all I can say. Shoot, even do it for me. And what you need to not do is think your own thoughts of God. Oh, God told me Corey, but ain't legit. I'll straight up look at you straight in the face while I'm driving and say, that's a lie. That's the devil. That ain't God. Because I know me. I can't talk for Kirk Franklin Lecrae. I can talk for me, though. I know me. I know I'm working for Jesus. I don't know what you talking about, right? So I can straight look at you in the face and say, that's for the devil, right? If you didn't God, right? But that's the best way to handle this. Ask God yourself. The fact that I can debate with you, oh, are they legit? Oh, we don't know. It is proof itself that you shouldn't even, that's not enough evidence for you to write them off as evil, right? Did you hear what I just said? The fact that it's a debate, oh, he working for the devil. No, well, what'd he do? Well, that ain't really evidence. But that itself is proof that you doing way too much in assuming these dudes ain't Christ-like, right? Yep. That itself is proof. If they was coming on the video, every video talking about Jesus is not God and Jesus ain't Lord, then you could be honest when he ain't walking the walk, we shouldn't be listening to him, right? Or if he was coming on the video, every video talking about it's okay to have sex before marriage, it's okay to be gay, it's okay to have sex with the same sex, it's okay to do sin. Every video, then right? And I've been asking God for wisdom. And what I think he revealed to me the last 2 hours was, hey, Corey, remember this is going to happen to you, and remember this probably will happen to you. Hopefully it doesn't, but probably will happen to you. And remember, this probably already is happening to you. Just because you ain't getting hate videos with people talking about, oh, Corey working for the Illuminati yet, don't mean people might not already be thinking this, right? No evidence. And like I said, hopefully that dude was like me and was just getting deceived by the devil, right? Because y'all don't understand, the devil is not like, bro, this dude is not stupid. He's stupid, but he's very clever in how he tries to do his stupid stuff, right? Do you understand? Like, he's clever at his trickery, right? But the whole theme of trying to trick people and lie to people and go against Jesus is stupid. But the way he does his stupid stuff, he's clever at it, right? He kind of neat with it. The way he'll try to make you think the people you need to be listening to are the people you shouldn't be listening to. I mean, if I was so, right, let's put you in the devil's shoes. If I was the devil and I knew that Kirk Franklin, Lecrae, and Corey's Chosen was working for Jesus, and that guy was doing big stuff through him, why would I not try to make people think that they shouldn't listen to them, right? Why would I not? Y'all don't think about stuff like this. See. And my heart goes out for all the people who are really Christian, who get deceived by people like this so much, right? They go to churches with people who lead the church that are wolves in sheep clothing, that are Pharisees. They gravitate and they don't have enough wisdom to understand, okay, this dude saying Lecrae's evil. I don't know if I should be talking to him right now. Maybe he just don't got enough wisdom. Maybe he's wrong, but I don't know, right? That's a red flag, right? Something going. I don't know Lecrae. I don't know Kirk Franklin. They could be right. I'm just saying, if we ain't got proof, right? And I love this verse, right? Because this is gonna knock it home, right? This is gonna knock it home, right? This verse right here. Listen to what they teach, but don't. So this is proof right here that even if you do speculate, I don't know if Lecrae is legit. I don't know if Kirk Franklin legit. I don't know if Corey's Chosen legit. Even if you do speculate, right? Here's the proof right here, right? So practice Matthew 23:3. He told this to the people, right? About the Pharisees. He said, so practice and obey whatever they tell you. That's what he said about the Pharisees. Y'all might click off. Hold on, because that's not all he said, right? Jesus not saying that the Pharisees are doing the right thing and that is the good people. No. He's saying, yeah, practice and obey whatever they tell you. That's cool. But he says, but don't follow their example. For they don't practice what they preach. So even if you do speculate, oh, Lecrae, oh, Joel Osteen, oh, Kirk Franklin, I don't think do walking the walk. That's okay. That don't mean you gotta stop listening. I mean, you can't deny the fact that you turn on Lecrae song and it's ride with my top down, listen to the Jesus music, ride with my top, ride. Why you gotta stop listening to that? Well, you think listening to that is gonna have some like demonic spell attached to it? Just because you speculate evil, right? No, but what you're hearing is good. Ride with my top down, listen to that Jesus music. What's wrong with that? Practice and obey whatever they tell you, right? But don't follow their example. So like I said, you can just keep listening to the music. Keep listening to Lecrae. Keep listening to Kirk Franklin. Y'all can't deny the fact that music good. You not sure about if they legit? Okay, then don't do what they do. Do whatever you do with what God wants you to do. But you don't gotta, right? And if you really are a child of God and really are seeking wisdom, it should not sit. You should be trying to figure. You should be trying to get wisdom on stuff like this. And if you see the trend, why is it that the people who seem to be doing having the biggest impact for the Christian community, why are they always the people that have so many people making hate videos about them? Oh, they're not legit. Oh, he working for the Illuminati. Oh, he working for the devil. It's because the devil got an agenda, bro. Not only in the world, he got an agenda in the Christian community too. He don't want y'all to listen to Joel Osteen. He don't want you to listen to Lecrae. Why would he want you to listen to Lecrae? Like, what good would it, see, I don't think about stuff like that. Why would the devil want you to listen to Lecrae? What would that do? How would that benefit the devil? That itself is proof that these people ain't working. Now, I'm not saying how make Christian music automatically not working for the devil. I'm saying, why though would the devil want you to stop listening to? If it's, like I said, no matter, you don't know the person in real life, if it's Christian music, it's Christian music. What's wrong with listening to somebody sing about Jesus, whether they legit or not? You see how you doing way too much speculation? Until you know, until God tell you, until you got evidence, leave it alone, bro. I'm telling you, that's what you need to do, right? With wisdom. Because I went through this 3-4 years ago, right? So I'm way past this, right? And I had even forgot that people do this, right? That's how past it I was, right? And Lecrae made a whole video about this. Cause he basically said the same thing I've said. He's like, yeah, there's times where I look at certain people and I'm like, I don't know if they're legit. And then he said, you know what? This is what we need to do. And this is kind of what I'm telling you. Until, right? If you ain't got evidence, and evidence is not one thing they said wrong on one video, especially if they come back and say, hey, I didn't mean it like that. Or evidence is not one thing they did wrong. No, evidence is they consistently showing that they ain't walking the walk, right? That would look, you know what that would look like? Knocking up girls, getting them pregnant, right? Girls coming out saying, he raped me. Girls coming out saying, oh yeah, he slept with me last night, right? Kids saying, oh, they molested me, right? People reporting, oh yeah, we saw that dude, right? Oh yeah, I sold cocaine to that dude. And like I said, even that, you can't even go by stuff like that because people can lie all they want, right? But until you got evidence like that, right? Oh my gosh. Good thing, I'm just gonna end it like this, right? Good thing we not doing this for y'all. And like I said, the dude had a nerve to bring up Pharisees when he was talking about Lecrae not being legit. And I'm like, you sound like a Pharisee. You sound like a Pharisee while you trying to bring up Pharisees, right? And he was talking about like, oh, but Jesus come on talking about I'm God and I'm the one. Almost a lot of stuff they be accusing Lecrae and Kirk Franklin of. I'm like, it's still doing it. Y'all lying while y'all like if you ask these people why don't you like Lecrae, why don't you like Kirk Franklin, you'll start realizing that these are just like foolish assumptions and lies, right? That they'll give as evidence, right? Like, when did he say? No, he didn't say he don't rap for Christ. He just meant he didn't want to had the label of Christian rapper. Like, come on, bro. And even if I tell you that, that's still not gonna make you change how you think about him, because it ain't really what they doing. It's about what's inside of them, right? It's about what's inside of you and what's inside of them, right? You got a spirit of the devil most likely if you gonna